Sup YouTube? Welcome to Europa Universalis 4, and I'm gonna start a new series. And this doesn't mean that I'm going to destroy my Caradel series, because I'm really enjoying playing as Caradel, and so I'm gonna keep that series going. But I wanted to start another one, and I got this idea from my good friend Fleabag Kitty 404, the creator of the thumbnail for the Caradel series. And basically, this series is going to be something to teach beginners, some people that have never played Europa Universalis 4 in their entire lives. This is going to teach you how to play. So if you want to learn how to play Europa Universalis 4, or if you're just into grand strategy games, maybe you're a Civilization 5 fan or a Civilization Beyond Earth fan, and you see this game and you're like, this looks interesting, how do I play it? Well, fear not, because this series is going to be for you. So, we're going to get right into it. You click on single player from the main menu and you're bombarded with this huge map, okay? And this can be a little bit intimidating, because to someone who's never played this game, you're thinking, holy crap, what in the world is this? Well, in Civilization 5, you get to go in this little lobby kind of thing, and you get to choose your civilization, you get to choose what kind of world it is and all that. No such selection process here in Europa Universalis 4. So instead, what you're faced with is a map of the world. It starts on Europe because, well, Europe is the universe, I suppose. But in reality, you can play as literally any country in the entire world. So, you want to play as Hungary? Alright, choose Hungary. You got some unique Hungarian ideas and everything, and I'll explain those. You know, you want to go all the way across the world and play Ming. Okay, well, play Ming, and you get these unique Ming ideas, or Korean ideas. I love Korea, so that's that would be a good one for me, and I have played Korea. But you can play literally any country in the entire world. Kamchadals, this is a Siberian clan council. Well, maybe you want to try and conquer the world as these guys. Well, go ahead. So, you know, any of the Native American tribes, the Aztecs, any of the Mayan countries, any of the Incan miners, I like to call them the Incan miners, or just non-Incan, non-Andean, just South American tribes. You know, any country you want. And there's actually an expansion pack called El Dorado. I have all the downloadable content, by the way. There's an expansion pack called El Dorado, and that allows you to create a custom nation, which is down in the bottom right-hand corner here. So, basically, what's happening is you could start as literally any country in the game, and I guess I should explain this from a Civilization 5 perspective as well, because it's I guess easier to understand it if you came from there, but I will do my best to explain it to people that have not played any grand strategy games at all. So, for this playthrough, we're going to choose the Ottomans. So, the Ottomans are probably the easiest country in the game to play, and as you can see, there are some recommended countries down here. The ones flashing in green are the only 3 that are recommended for new players. The Ottomans, oh, hello, Duran. The Ottomans are one, and they are literally the easiest country in the entire game to play. Then there's Castile, which is right here, and then there's France. And actually, some people might argue with me and say France is the easiest, but I disagree. I think the Ottomans are probably the easiest. Then you got England, Austria, Sweden, Portugal. Here, I'll even show you guys. England, Austria over here, Sweden over here, Portugal over here, Muscovy right here, which historically formed Russia, I believe. So, then you can also play as Venice over here, and Poland over here. But for this playthrough, we're going to play as the Ottomans. So, let's actually go ahead and make this Iron Man mode, and what this means is that if we make a mistake, we cannot go back and change it. And it's pretty hard to make too big of a mistake as the Ottomans, but we're going to go ahead and play Iron Man mode. So let's get into it. So, when you play Iron Man mode, you are faced with a screen that just tells you to name your save. So, what I'm going to do is name it, I'm kebab. And that's what people call the Ottomans. Most games you play, the Ottomans will become huge because it is very easy to play as them, even for the computer. So, you're going to start out in this terrain map mode. I don't know why they don't keep it in the political map mode, but here you go. Here, and you're faced with this screen and you're thinking, what do I do? Okay, now the game does have some in-game tutorials, and there is a demo of the game, but the demo actually uses an earlier version of the game, so this is here to help you, alright? This video series is going to be here to help you. So, let's start in this upper left hand corner. So here you have your flag, okay? In the Ottomans' case, it's just a red flag with a yellow crescent. And when you click on it, it's going to bring up some information, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. There's also the macro builder, I think it's called, or the production interface. You're going to be going to this red button a lot, regardless of who you play as. You're going to be going to that. And then over here, you've got your alerts, and green is like, you might want to take a look at this. Yellow is like, these are kind of important, you need to pay attention to them, and red is, holy crap, this is urgent. Take care of this right now. So, then you've got your resources. You've got your money, measured in ducats. And ducats was the name of the gold and silver coins used in Europe, I believe. So, I mean, they're just called ducats. I guess we could just call it money or gold, whatever. But, then you've got the manpower, and your manpower is basically your capacity to reinforce your troops in battle and your capacity to raise more armies. Your stability is obvious. It's the stability of your empire, depending on if you're an empire or a kingdom, whatever you are. The stability of your realm, stability of your country. Your prestige, that's also obvious, and they affect some things, but basically you can understand that higher prestige is good, lower prestige is bad. And stability can go down to -3 and up to +3. Prestige can go down to -100 and up to +100. And legitimacy is a measure, I'm just going to read the tooltip here, a measure of how legitimate monarchs are perceived to be by their subjects. Heirs with a weak claim will have low legitimacy once they inherit the throne. So basically it's the belief of the people that you are the rightful ruler of the country. So, high legitimacy, very good. Low legitimacy, which it goes down to 0 and up to 100. Low legitimacy, very, very bad. And this here is power projection, and that's not all that important, but it does have some some really good bonuses if you can get it up really high. So, okay, so then you've got your monarch points, okay? And these are going to be your most important resources in the entire game, okay? More important than money, manpower, everything. The most important thing in the game is monarch points, because if you don't have any of those, you can't do anything worthwhile. So, you've also got your envoys? I don't remember the pronunciation. I really should look that up, but not now. Okay, anyways, you get your merchants, you've got colonists, and not useful for the Ottomans, but to Castile, which forms Spain. They do need colonists to colonize the New World. Then you've got your diplomats, and your diplomats are how you interact with other countries. That's very obvious. And then you've got missionaries, which is what you can do to convert your provinces to your state's religion. So, here we go. We're getting into it. The Ottomans start out in a war versus Albania. And Albania is this little red country over here, and when you click on the province, it gives you a lot of information. I'm not going to go into all of it right now, because a lot of it, for one thing, is self-explanatory. Second of all, it is a lot of information to be covered before we even start the game. So, down in the bottom right, you can see the little flag of Albania, and it says the Ottoman-Albanian War. And if you left-click on it, it will show you the war screen. It's against, just me versus Albania, and that's it. And it will take the war goal, basically, why did you declare the war, what is your goal in declaring this war, and when you take that, well, you're winning the war, or you have a better chance of winning the war. And a button to sue for peace. But we don't want to wipe peace out with them, we want to destroy them, and that's what the Ottomans need to do. So, Oh, there's so much to explain. So basically, what we want to do here is we want to take our army, select our army over here, and you can see, okay, it's made up of these infantry units, and there's a little bit of cavalry in it, and it says up here, no leader. And the Ottomans start with a general, so we're going to click on this, and we're going to click on this general that we have, Hadim Sehebedin. Okay, I probably just slaughtered that name, but anyway, we're going to click on him, and basically what that does is it puts this general in charge of this Ottoman army, okay? And in case any of you were wondering, you can even play as Albania, and it's very, very difficult. I wouldn't say it's the most difficult in the whole game, but many people consider it to be the most difficult in the whole game. But they just haven't played good yet. So, anyway, so what we're going to do is you select it, you can just drag a box around it, or you can click it. Many strategy game players are going to be familiar with that kind of control scheme. So, once you've got them selected, just move them into an enemy province by right-clicking, okay? And now it's going to say, okay, they arrive on the 19th of November, 1444, right? And the date is up in the top right-hand corner, and it's the 11th of November, 1444. Most of the time when you play this game, this is the date you're going to start at. So, we are going to march in there, and let's check on our alerts, actually, before we start the game. And we can convert provinces. See, as you can see, I'm going to switch to religious map mode. By the way, here are some of the map modes. Religious map mode, okay? You can see this is Orthodox, okay? The state religion of the Ottomans is Sunni. So, obviously, these provinces that are Orthodox, we don't want them to be Orthodox anymore. We want them to be Sunni. However, the time it's going to take to convert this stuff is a long time. So in fact, we're actually not going to bother with this right now. Soon, but not right now. So then you could see the unrest. If there's too much unrest, eventually a revolt will break out, and you'll have some nasty rebels on your hands that you have to deal with. Advisors, we can hire advisors, and what advisors do. By the way, when you click on your flag, you get all this info. I'm really sorry if I'm not explaining this properly. But here's basically when you click on your flag, this is what's happening. Brings up your government tab first. And many times you're going to spend tons of time in this interface right here, because this is basically how you manage your country. So, advisors are over here, and over on the left, and you can click on this and you can hire advisors, okay, and they're going to cost some money, but they will give you extra monarch points. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hire this guy, okay, and he's going to give us an extra administrative monarch point every month. So, hire that guy at the cost of 1 ducat per month, and we're making 11.85 even with him. So we're rolling in the dough right now. And next thing, I'm going to hire this guy, and he's going to increase our trade efficiency, as well as give us a diplomatic power, or a monarch point every month. And by the way, this administrative guy does decrease unrest, so I don't know if you noticed, but the little alert that said I had unrest goes away, okay? Then we're going to hire a military advisor, and oh, this guy's really good. This woman, actually. It's a Women in History DLC. It's free. The discipline plus 5% is a really good modifier, so we're going to go ahead and take that. And that's going, and she is a higher skill level, so she's going to give us 2 military points per month at the expense of 4 ducats per month instead of just 1. So she's a lot more expensive, but anyway, this is diplomacy, and this is the economy. You can see, wow, that looks like a lot less. But anyway, here's the trade panel, and you can find out a lot of different information about trade. Okay, if you're coming here from, let's just start the game, and they'll do this very slowly, but if you're coming here from Civilization 5, you will notice very quickly in this game that the technology moves very linearly. There is no technology tree, or in Civilization Beyond Earth, there's no technology web. these guys move to provinces. Okay, so 26th of November they're gonna arrive, and we didn't actually get any combat with them, so let's take that. Let's take these guys to that province. What is it? Yanya? Yeah, Yanya. And we're gonna engage that army. Okay, it's an army of 13,000 versus an army of 2,985. So we'll definitely win. By the way, there's this national decisions. Here they are, and you can do these things, and they gain they give you some bonuses, and we're just gonna go ahead and take a ton of them. And I don't really have time to explain all these at the moment, but what we are going to do is just take a bunch of them, and then you've got missions, and these will help kind of like direct your game. So you do basically, you take the mission, okay, and then you achieve the goal of the mission, and then you get some nice benefits. Usually, sometimes not, but then yeah. So here's what we do. We're gonna engage this army, and the time, as you can see, this time goes very slow, okay, and they're gonna outrun us actually. So okay, and you can see in the little tooltip it says we'll arrive in Terhala on the 3 December 1444. Okay, let's see if he does anything. Okay, and we just got an alert right here. Alliance offer from Tunis. Okay, so basically, well, you know what an alliance is, especially if you come from civilization. So Tunis is saying, hey, offers us an alliance. By doing so, we are promising to help each other in times of war. Well, yes, go ahead. Actually, I'm very curious. Okay, never mind. Alright, so we're going to see if we can engage this army. Okay, now, did you see that? They stopped traveling, and now, instead, they're laying siege to this province. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into this province and then right around to Yanya, because it's shorter to travel between these two provinces than to travel between this one and this one. So I have a better shot at catching them. Here we go. Alright. And there are little tooltips that say, oh, you're attacking in the mountains, you're crossing a river, and those are important for combat, but I won't fully explain combat, because essentially what it's going to come down to a lot of the times is your numbers. But in certain cases, such as if you play as Ming, then, see, we can actually see Ming right now. In certain cases, such as when you play as Ming, the numbers don't really count that much. Just sheer number of troops don't really count that much. It's a lot of other things. So, basically 13,000 against 3,000. We all know who's going to win this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and engage this army. We are going to make it go faster after this, but alright. So you see that we're engaging the army, and you can look at these. Okay, this is our discipline, and this is our morale, our tactics. Okay, they affect different things. The amount of troops. You can see a little diagram of the troops in the battle. But here's the most important thing. Okay. Well, the two most important things: the number that this die is, because it rolls a die between 0 and 9, I believe. And okay, that's really that is really loud. I don't know if it's really loud for you on YouTube, but basically it's this die number. Okay, so if you roll a higher number, okay, you're gonna be good. And the morale. The morale is the other thing. So when your enemy's morale reaches a lower point, you know, the lowest point it can possibly be, when it drains completely, you've won the battle. So we're going to let this battle go on a little bit, and we are going to increase the speed to speed 3. This is a good speed to play on, speed 3. Sometimes you might want to bump it down to 2. Alright, now look at this. Do you see how their morale has depleted so much? It's 0.05. Okay, that's like less than 2.5% of their morale. So, whereas we've got a ton, okay? It's partially because of our superior numbers. Now, we won that battle, I think, I don't know if it was because of the overwhelming numbers, but I think we won that battle because we won the battle within 14 days. I'm not exactly sure, but... So what happened is we just destroyed all of their troops. They don't have any army left at all. And they're going to try to make another one, but too bad. We're going to lay siege to the province. Okay, and Tunis offered us a royal marriage, and what that means basically is that Tunis's nobles will get married to my nobles, and it results in better relations between the two countries, and it gives you some legitimacy, okay? Makes it easier for you to improve relations with other countries, and it gives you an increased chance of a new heir. Now, that's not particularly useful for Muslim countries because they always have another heir. There's always another heir, so they really just don't have to worry about it. So, but still, royal marriage will increase your relations with that country. So you can see this little thing in the diplomacy view. And I'm going to accept this. And by the way, to just skip right to this view, to the diplomacy view, you can right-click on a country, as long as you don't have any troops selected. Or you can left-click on a province and then click diplomacy. Okay, and it brings up this view. So, we're laying siege to this province, and here's how this works. Okay, here's the siege view. And I'm just going to explain this briefly. I don't need to go into full detail about how sieges work because it's a little bit complicated. But I will say here's basically how they work. Okay, if it's a coastal province, it's going to need to be blockaded. If it's not, well, the siege is going to take a little bit longer for obvious reasons, right? They can actually get their people supplies through ships. But if you're blockading it, well, it's going to be faster because people are starving. So you've also got a garrison in the province, which is defending the fort, okay? Now, every siege phase, which in this case, with Albania, every siege phase is 43 days. Also because they're in the mountains, mountains, and because you're Albania, Albania is easier to defend if you can survive. And, so every 43 days, it's going to roll a die that goes from, I think, just 1 to 14. And what needs to happen is you have to roll a 20 in order to actually have the enemy surrender, okay? So obviously, if you're starting out with 0, it's impossible to just siege the province and occupy it the first go-around. So we're going to let this run for a while, and as you can see, this little thing ticks down, okay? And then every time you progress in the siege, this time marker moves up. It's the siege status, and it can go up to 12. So, yeah, depending on what you get, and this is, it's a little bit hard to explain, but basically, just wait here for a while. And things that can progress sieges is that if you have a good general, if the general has siege quality, let's go to our military tab, and you can see this general right here. This is his siege quality. He has 1. Okay, that means he helps progress sieges faster, and you can see this right here. So it's a little 1. Also, a little bit later in the game when you get cannons, it's not late game, but it's later than early game. When you get cannons, cannons will help out. So you need to have lots of cannons to very effectively besiege a province, and they really do help out. You do need to blockade a province, and then also the level of the fort will determine this modifier right here. And this is a level 2 fort, so it gives them a -2 modifier. Now, I told you that every 43 days, in this case, you roll a die between 1 and 14. Well, if you roll a 14, then you get walls breached, and that gives a +3 bonuses. Or that gives a +3 bonus. So obviously, you're gonna want to roll a 14. Yeah. So basically, letting that siege go on, and after a while, it will progress enough. And you know what? Actually, what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna... No, actually, you know what? For the purposes of simplicity, I'll just leave the entire army Leave the entire army there, but that's... And when you learn more about the game, you will realize why sometimes leaving the entire army there is not a good idea. It's due to something called attrition. So, by the way, if you're coming here from Civilization 5, you will not be able to play that game after you get a good taste of this. So, what do we want to do after we conquer Albania? Because basically this is a done deal, right? There's no way we could lose this war. He can't raise another army because I'm besieging his province, and yeah, there's no way we could get destroyed in the meantime. So what do we do? Well, good thing for the Ottomans to do, and this is what the AI normally does, is they take this mission called City of the World's Desire, and what that does is it gives you a claim on Constantinople. Now, Byzantium is the remnants, is the final remnant of the Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, as it's also known. And the Western Roman Empire fell 470-something, the year 470-something, but it took the Eastern Roman Empire almost 1,000 years to actually fall itself in the siege of Constantinople. So, I'm gonna kind of guide history here, or let history guide us, rather, and choose this. And this is the little mission. It says, okay, mission succeeds when the Ottomans own Constantinople. So if we can destroy Constantinople, then we win that mission. And if we win, we get 5 prestige. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, so when you take the mission, you get a free claim on Constantinople. And when you open this province view, I'll explain this while this siege is going on. Oh, look at this. We got to breach walls. So, when you click on the province, you look at the province view. Here, you can see the base tax. This is actually going to change soon. They're doing an update, so... But, this is a lot of information. So, you can see the owner of the province. In this case, it's Byzantium. And I'll explain that later. I'll explain events later. And you can see up here that it's Byzantium's capital, and it's their main trade port. Okay, you can see that a river is flowing between these two provinces. Okay, there's a strait here, so you can actually use land troops to just cross, unless you're being blockaded. So if there are enemy ships over here, then troops cannot cross. You can see the tax income, the production income, the total income, and this is per year. Okay, we've won the siege of Albania. So I'm just going to continue explaining this because I don't want to be too distracting. I hope I'm doing an okay job at explaining this. I hope I'm not being too crazy. But there is a lot to this game, so it's kind of difficult to understand. But don't worry, guys. I will walk you all through it. So you can see the amount of unrest. Okay, they've got very, very little unrest because of Byzantium ideas. They got a lot of tolerance of orthodoxy. You can see the local autonomy. Okay, you can see the culture in it. If it's green, it means it's an accepted culture, and in Byzantium's case, it's the primary culture. Okay, for the Ottomans, it's Turkish. That's our primary culture. Okay, and then you can see their opinion of you, and it tells you how it arrived at that number. Opinions can go down to -200 and up to 200, positive 200. And it can also show you their attitude towards you. Now, in my case, they are threatened. It can show you their government type. They are an empire. It'll show you their military technology level, 3. That's what all countries in this part of the world start at. There are bordering countries, such as Akkoyanlu and Karakayanlu, and they start... Oh, no, they start at 3 as well. I don't want to confuse you guys. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you can click on diplomacy. You can see whether or not they are part of the Holy Roman Empire. That's something else entirely. If you want to learn how the Holy Roman Empire works, then I am not the person to explain it, because I barely even understand it myself. So I don't play in Europe. So You see the religion of the province. Okay, it's orthodoxy, and if it's green, that means that that's good. That's the true faith of that country. Such as over here. Okay, this is Sunni, and it's good because that's the primary religion of the Ottomans. Okay, and there is a way to change your religion, but it's complicated, and I don't fully understand changing to a heathen religion. And there are heathens. Every religion has heretics and heathens. You could say, okay, true faith, Sunni. Heretics are Shia and Ibadi, and heathens are everything else. So, but anyway, I don't know how to convert to heathen religions. Anyway, you can see that this province is an important center of trade. It's Bosphorus Sound Toll, and that gives it some more trade power, okay? And then it tells you, okay, this is 38% war score to take in a war. It shows you how much okay, so you get it. It gives you all the information you're going to need about that province. Here, you see the cores and claims. When a flag is bordered by gold, that means a country has a core there. If it's bordered by green, the country just has a claim there, which means they say, well, that really should be ours. I think that should be ours, but it's not actually theirs. So, for instance, okay, this province is our capital, Edirne, I guess. You see, Byzantium also has a core here. So they're like, wait a second, this is actually ours. This is supposed to be ours. So they have cores here, here. You know, they have lots of cores. And actually, you can go into a diplomatic view, okay? And all these green are their cores, okay? So you can go here, and Byzantium has a core there. They also, the yellow is claims. So you can see we have yellow here. That's a claim, you know, that we have a claim on that province. We have cores all over here, which is crazy. So the Ottomans actually have a very easy route to expansion here. But okay, so go back to political, and we're going to negotiate a peace deal. So what you can do is, there are 3 ways to negotiate a peace deal. I'm just going to explain them all just because it's good to just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So you can go to the diplomacy view and click Sue for peace. Okay, this will negotiate peace with whoever you clicked on. So if you're the war leader and you, okay, well I won't get into that right now, but okay. So you can do that. You can also left-click on this war thing, the war window, and click peace deal. Okay, that'll bring it up. Or you could just right-click on this war thing right here, this war flag. So you can either demand things from your opponent, or you can offer things from your opponent, and offer things to your opponent. So if you're losing a war, you might be able to, you know, get out of the war if you just concede defeat, or if you give them some provinces, or if you, I don't know, treaties. You know, there are a lot of different options. You can even give money, but it's not exploitable in any way. I promise. Most of the time, they don't want money. So in this case, in the Ottomans' case, we're going to demand their full annexation. We want them completely to become a part of the Ottomans. So here we go, and then you just send your demand, and they're forced to accept it because we have 100% war score. So, of course, they accept it. It's impossible for them not to accept. So, as you can see, this is now the Ottomans. It's now part of the Ottomans. And all these provinces are going to take so much time to convert to Sunni. So we're just going to leave that for now. So, okay, so now this is one of the red alerts, and it says too few rivals. So you have to pick your rivals. Okay, so what do we do here? Well, we're going to choose some rivals. How many do we need? We roll over it? Well, we need at least 3. That's the maximum anyway. So, first of all, what were the Ottomans' historical rivals? I believe the Timurids was one of them. Yes, historical rival, and the Mamluks was one of them. And okay, so they oh, that's interesting. They changed the name of the province. The Ottomans do that with a lot of different provinces. But anyway, so we could choose rivals. And we're just gonna go with the standard Mamluks, okay? Choose that. And when you rival people, you get some bonuses when you basically, it's better to, it's easier to conquer your rivals. You get a lot more prestige when they're fighting them and everything. It's, you know, you're announcing to the world, hey, we don't like these people. Okay, so, and the Timurids are going to be our rival, and we have to choose one more, and let's go ahead and choose Karakayalo. I don't know, maybe some people will disagree with me on that, but yeah, so I keep wanting to check the religion because I'm so used to being able to easily convert provinces, and that's just not the fact of the matter with the Ottomans. But I'm going to take a break here, but if you enjoyed, then please stay tuned for the next video. Please feel free to subscribe if you want to get notified when the next one comes out. I will try to keep teaching you guys all about Europa Universalis 4. If there's anything I wasn't clear on, or anything that you have to ask me, feel free. I do read my comments, so if you ask me a question, I am very likely to see it and even respond to it. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.